Watch this.
Welcome to episode 1 of It's So Hard Being Light Skinned. I am one of your hosts, Morgan Fikes, here with my uncle.
Yep, Jonathan Kirkland, the fun uncle.
You are a fun uncle. Um, and I know I have a baby face, as does Uncle Jonathan, but we are actually pretty close in age and uncle and niece by marriage. So,
Yes. So some of the things we say don't think it's weird. Just know it's only like what a 3, 4 year age difference.
yes,
So just ride with it, ride with us, ride with it.
exactly. So, yes, well, this is our first episode, our inaugural episode of It's So Hard Being Light Skinned. And today we're talking about it's so hard to mind your business.
So hard. So
Uh,
hard.
yeah, everybody has thoughts on mind your business, as some say they mind the business that pays them. Others, kind of have a am I my brother's keeper mentality. What are your thoughts on staying in your lane and like when you're minding your own business versus getting involved?
Well, see, I I have ADHD, so my mind goes all over the place, so I can't help but mind other people's business. Um, I try not to like meddle though. My aunt calls me messy. I call it inquisitive. Some might call it nosy, but sometimes there's things where what I learned in the past is that sometimes when I would mind business that wasn't my own, it was because I can see the other person being affected by something that I thought was very trivial, very dumb, very stupid. So I would get involved because I'm like, this is just dumb. And then I might tell somebody else about it because it was a dumb thing in my mind. Not taking into account that the person that's actually whose business it was felt a strong way about it. So I've had to have
It's
literally.
ironic because you say you jumped in because they felt a strong way about it.
And I felt like it shouldn't have been like a big thing. So I jumped into like I thought in my mind to tell him like, okay, this is dumb, this is stupid, move on. But it was big to them, so whatever. But I've learned my lesson from that. I had an intervention back when I was living in LA. Me and three of my friends, they sat me down and told me how I was wrong in these situations. So, and that what we all did, we all told each other a secret that nobody knows. And I have not told anybody those secrets to this day, even though now I have forgotten everyone's secret. That was a while ago. But I know I didn't tell it because it hadn't come back to me. So yeah.
I think sometimes where I get in trouble is I'm I'm always seeing different perspectives. And so, oh,
That's a good trait. That's a good quality.
alert. Um, I think it's a good quality most of the time, but where I run into trouble sometimes is like if you come to me and you're like really frustrated about a situation that happened with someone, I will find ways not to take their side per se, but like to like consider their perspective. And I've had some people appreciate it and are like, oh, I didn't think of that. Or like, I hadn't considered that. And other people are like, it doesn't feel like you're on my team.
Mm. Now that's a good trait of like looking at all the perspectives. Is that the are you a what you go to school for? Psychology?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. The brain. Is that the brain? Okay.
And human behavior, basically.
Yeah, so all right. So that's like
I've always
instilled.
been interested in human behavior for sure. And like just see a mix of perspectives. So it's usually good, but like sometimes it makes people feel like I'm not in their corner. So I
Mm.
have to be like cognizant of that.
Well, yeah, see, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't live in my own world, but it's like I can only see my perspective because I'm the one living it. So again, I feel like I've grown in that space a little bit to like try to at least consider or listen to other people's perspective.
You're like,
But
I
at
know
the end of the
it
day,
does.
it's my perspective. I'm the one seeing it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I'm right.
Well, that's the thing that I think we forget in like various moments is like nobody people are rarely, I'm not saying I'm never gonna say never. People are rarely arguing a thing that they don't believe to be true. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Arguing about it or supporting it or taking that position is because they think they're right. Like nobody I haven't really come across people that are actively arguing something that they think is wrong. Now, I have watched someone in real time like realize they were wrong, and that's always interesting because they have that moment of like, oh, like you make a really solid point and they're like, oh,
So people actively arguing something that they believe is wrong. You live in DC.
yeah.
That just go
No,
down the street.
people believe the stuff that they argue. That's the
They
crazy part.
can't. There's no way that they can actually believe it.
Hmm.
Some of the stuff, no, no, not no.
Hmm.
Oh, that's sad.
Listen, you tell yourself the same thing over and over again.
It becomes true to you.
You have to believe it to a certain extent. Otherwise, like it becomes hard to make that same argument stand up, support it. You have to believe some aspect of the thing that you're peddling. And that is the crazy part. Is like you meet some of the people in the wild and you're like, oh, you really are a flat earther. Like you really actually believe that the earth is flat. Like it is fascinating. And I remember there was a dude last year, I want to say, who like did some it was either like a contest or a trip or something to like prove the earth was flat, like spent all this money and basically like proved himself wrong.
Now, did he change his thinking or did he still try to say that it was
I
flat?
think he tried to double down or something, which is,
Interesting.
but like, I mean, sometimes people really, it has to be like all the way beating them in the face for them to be like, okay, maybe I was wrong on that thing.
Sometimes literally. We don't condone violence on this show. Um, disclaimer.
Uh-huh.
Legal note. Um, Sidebar, another question. So we're talking about mind a business that isn't your own, but what about when other people put you in their business and then get upset with you? Like they tell you whatever's going on, either they don't like what you said or your
Well, I
mind goes
have
somewhere
gotten better
else.
about like asking, like, hey, are you just telling me this to vent or are you like looking for advice? Because those are like different conversations. Sometimes someone just like wants a sounding board and to like get it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not really gonna like delve into my opinion. I'm just going to like hear the things. And in fact, I had a best friend one time basically come to me and she was like, look, I did some crazy shit. I know it was some crazy shit. And I'm about to tell you, and I need you to just agree with me right now. And I was like, okay. Like she set the premise, and then maybe like a week or two later, she came and was like, okay, now I'm ready to hear like what you actually think. Like, give it to me real. Like, how crazy was I? Da, da, da. Like, sometimes you just gotta. I'm a big believer. I don't. It's sort of a fine line between like meeting people where they're at and delusion, but like
Hmm.
sometimes you have to sort of step into people's delusion. It's like if you like there's a client of a friend that I've like met before. She's got dementia. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, do you tell her that everyone she loves and cares about is dead every day over and over again?
Wow, we went there with
Or,
this.
well, but that's what I'm saying. Like for some people, they ask certain questions and the answers are hard. And it's like, do I tell you this over and over again and just have you depressed all day? Or you're like, oh, is Tom at the store? Yeah, Tom's at the store because I don't need to tell you 10 times that Tom is dead and have you crying all day when you ask me if Tom's at the store. Like, those are like the white lies of dementia
Mhm.
that, you just like lean into meeting people where they're at because sometimes the truth is more harmful than just agreeing.
Hmm.
So, like, I'm gonna mind my business. I don't need to tell her every current event. If she thinks Jimmy Carter is still president, that would be nice.
Now, what if it's somebody, because I've run into this before, where like a friend of yours is dating somebody that you know is not going to last, and you tell the person, actually done this a lot of times, and I've been right all but one, but they're still dating, so I'm sure I will be right eventually. So you get involved because I've done this. I got involved in the business and told them like it's going to end the way that your other ones have ended. They're going to cheat on you. They're not going to do this, or something's going to happen. And I'm always right in these situations. But then I'm the one that is the one that's ostracized
Did they
because
ask
it's like,
you?
no, they didn't ask me.
Okay, so then if they didn't ask you, then
But
that's
no,
why
but as a
that's why you in
friend,
trouble. That's why you in trouble. They
but
didn't
as a friend, I don't
ask
want my friend to
why.
get
Hey,
hurt. So
hey,
let's
that's
alleviate
why
these
you in trouble,
months or years.
sir.
No,
Sir,
I'm
you
right.
asked about it. No, you're not right because
I'm
nobody
right.
asked. It's not right. Listen, all unsolicited advice is criticism.
If you see something, say something. We
This
learned that on the subways,
Metro.
on the
This
trains,
ain't
on
the
the
Metro.
plane,
This is
everything.
friendship. The rules
And
of
I
the
see
subway.
something, so I say
The rules
something.
of the subway are not the rules of friendship,
All
sir.
right. Well, it's gonna crash and burn just like all the rest of those relationships
And
do.
guess what?
Don't
That
come to me.
also no, you also don't get to do that. Either you
I do. If
can,
I can't tell you what I want to tell you when it's time to tell you, when what I said,
but you don't
I
get to
told you
decide
something.
for somebody else when it's time to tell them. You have to meet people where they're at and if they're ready. And being ready requires somebody to ask. If they ask you, hey, Jonathan, I'm dating this guy, what do you see? And then they ignore the shit, then they're a problem. But you can't
But I ain't
be
got time to be waiting for the
question
question. Sometimes I don't have time to wait for the question because
but
the
then
question might never come.
you're being nosy. Exactly. And you got to deal with that because it's not your job to tell everybody about themselves unsolicited.
Okay.
That is not your job in the world.
So that's like saying if you bought a car and you know the car had a recall because the brakes are bad, and your friend just bought the car and she's so
Sir,
happy about the
here's how
car.
I think your relationship might go is not the same as here's a safety warning that might kill you.
It is the same thing with mental health when the
Sir,
breakup
you don't get to
happens.
decide for other people.
Mhm.
No, it is not the same.
Okay.
It is not. Now,
I
if
guess
you're
we
like, this
agree to
person is
disagree.
abusive and might kill you, that's different. If you think they are in the threat of physical harm, that is different. But
And
if
that's
you're just
goes with the
like,
same example I gave of the car with the
dude,
brakes.
that's why I said threat of physical harm. But he's gonna break your heart like the one before did is a choice that they are
That's
making.
physical harm.
That's not physical harm. That person is
That's
not putting their
heartbreak.
hands on you.
That's heartbreak.
Heartbreak is not physical harm. It is just an emotion that you go through when a relationship ends. It is a normal part of life that people experience.
Well, I haven't had that feeling in a long time.
Well, maybe that's why you so up in everybody else's business.
Yeah, I need some more business of my own.
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe that's why you got time to mind everybody else's business. Because
Anywho.
one of our questions was the line between curiosity and nosiness.
Oh,
And you
I'm definitely nosy. I know
on
that for
the
a
nosy
fact.
side.
I'm definitely nosy. I used to be a curious child asking them, though, well, why? Well, what's this? Well, what's that? But I'm just nosy as hell now. I sit outside my window. So I live in an area of Maryland that's near DC, and there's prostitutes across the street. And I sit outside the window. I look. I turn my lights off and I sit outside. I put the window up so I can hear their conversations. The other day was these two women out there. One, she threw a black plastic bag in my front yard. I ain't say nothing because she looked like she was on crack. But she had a nice little blonde bobby wig, and she let the other prostitute take a sip because I thought they were arguing, but I think she was just having a passionate conversation because she
You
took the
think
cigarette.
everybody's arguing. You thought the news that was on in the background a minute ago was arguing.
It's the world we live in, it's just very
It's
tumultuous.
your interpretation of tone, which is interesting. Because this
Because
was
I
not,
always feel attacked. I
yes.
always feel attacked. And yeah, so they were out there talking or whatever. I guess they were friends or whatever because she snatched her cigarette back, but then she gave it back to her. And I think she was having like an emotion because she threw her bag down, but then she went to go pick it up. So I'm just sitting there watching them. And then a white pickup truck pulled up and like beep, beep. So I was like, oh. So it was a guy rolled down the window. So they looking across the street. He looking at them across the street. He said, I want some head. I was like, ooh, this is getting good. And so she I don't know what I couldn't hear what she was saying because her back was to me and he was across the street. But he repeated it and then he signaled for her to come over, but she didn't go over and he pulled off. But like the nosiness part of it, also that's not no that's neighborhood watch. Neighborhood watch. But
So Real Watch has a very racist history. So no, that is not no neighborhood watch, but continue.
neighborhood watch. So yeah, I like to know what's going on. I like to know what's the goings ons. Um
Hmm.
I don't care. I'll be nosy every day because nosy
We
when you know
know.
you know stuff.
First of all, outside of being able to regurgitate it here, what you about to do about the inner workings of the two ladies working your block? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. So,
Absolutely
so you
nothing.
talk about it serves me to know the going-ons. How?
Because like that
Exactly. You
reaction
just
about I want
know
some head.
me.
Give me some head. I want some head.
That
I
didn't
just loved it. It just
you don't
helped
need
me
to know the
realize
price of
what's
patience.
happening.
You ain't learned nothing new or useful.
I
Okay?
learned if I wanted to pull up to a prostitute, how to and how not to do it. It was nice though. He didn't even say hi. He just said, I want some head.
That made him nice. You know,
No, I
look.
said, I mean,
You said he was nice though. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you unpack that one with your therapist. Okay. Um, have you ever had guilt for not speaking up?
guilt for not speaking up. No. Not that comes to mind. Not speaking.
Oh, you've never tried it, huh?
I'm trying to think. Got to think deep down in the vault for this one. For me not saying something and feeling guilty afterwards. No, no, no.
You
Because
said
I
I
was
don't
going
do
to say,
that. I'm not
I was going to
quiet.
say one, but that wasn't my story to tell. Um, mm-mm. No. You?
Hmm, no, I can't think of anything that I no. I had a family member dating a crazy person one time, and I kept telling them that they were crazy, and they, kind of kept brushing me off. And then finally,
They got married.
no, hell no. Finally she said something crazy one night and they broke up. And this chick, she took all of the cables from the house. She took all of his computers because he used to have a home office. So he had some computers there. She
You mean
took
when you say cables, you mean like the cords behind the TV?
like the cords to the TV, the cords to his toothbrush charging, like
Oh
his
wow.
basically any sort of like cables to charge it.
That's
So,
strategic. That's smart.
no, it was so dramatic. She took a bag of his dirty clothes.
That is smart.
Took she took his adjustable bed, put it in the up position, and took the remote. She took all of his left shoes.
That's my kind of girl. That's what I like. That's how you do it.
No, sir, that's
That
unhinged.
is how you do it.
That is unhinged. And when it all went down, he was like, "Did you know she was this crazy?" And I was like, "I told you it would be fine until y'all broke up. And so maybe next time you will listen."
Hmm. Did he ever get his left shoes back?
Yes, he got the shoes and a few other things. I mean, it was a mess. We ended up having to like file a restraining order. Like the police were involved. It was messy. She was nuts.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Minding your business. I find I'm all about community, and I think it's important to care about each other and like pay attention to your neighbor, especially right now. But more often than not, I have found that minding my business is the way to go. How about you?
Hmm. No, 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 no. I still think it's okay to be inquisitive and ask questions and sometimes give your opinion when unsolicited. But what I
I
will
agree.
say to anybody listening is that just be prepared for the fallout or the consequences with it. That's my thing. Like one of my friends that I gave that, I don't know about it wasn't so much advice. Oh, you were there at the incident at Broccoli City
Hmm.
last year. So those two, whatever. And so, I packaged it up and, I told him that, it just came out very aggressively, almost physically, but it was emotionally. That's how I like to put it, because I can foresee what could potentially happen. And mm, I'm not gonna say likely gonna happen because if they listen to this, that motherfucker will just spite me and just marry this person just to do it because I said it's not gonna happen. So I'm not gonna give them that much anything. Tangent. So yeah. So me caring about my friend and not seeing him hurt again, like another one of my friends hurt him. Um, so yeah, I am okay sitting in our relationship not being where it used to be. Because if that's the case, you still with this fuck person temporarily. I don't know. I'm still gonna be. I'm still in people. I'm still nosy. That's the moral of that story. I'm
But you
still.
feel like your nosiness is worth losing friendships over.
Well,
That's what I
well, the
basically
friendship
heard
must
you.
not have been that
That's not how
foundation.
that works, Jonathan. People are allowed to have boundaries. You can't
Okay.
say just because the consequences of your actions led to a change in the friendship meant that the friendship didn't matter or wasn't real in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
No, it means that your actions had consequences and it affected how this person felt safe in a friendship with you.
Well, that's felt safe in the friendship. I was on cause for felt safe in the friendship.
Sir, if someone feels like giving unsolicited advice about the people that I'm with in a way that doesn't really feel like caring, which
Whatever.
sometimes you loudly, and I don't give a fuck how you feel, share your thoughts.
Well, one thing about me too is that I've
Because
tried this
delivery
before.
matters.
Hmm,
Delivery matters.
I guess, but
I guess you know it does because you've watched how people respond.
with me, when I try to keep things in, it physically hurts me. So I start doing this. My hands start to shake because I'm trying to like brush it off.
Then go
Like,
write it in a letter. You can let it out. That doesn't mean you have to let it out all over everybody else. Put it in
well,
your journal. Tell your therapist. There are 1,000 ways to let things out that doesn't necessarily make it about other people.
I don't have a therapist. I don't need one. I have medication.
So you need
Um,
therapy. So let's not do that. And medication.
ChatGPT is a therapist.
No, it's not.
It is. They can interpret your
First of
dreams and
all, first of all, what we're not going to do is say legally liable things on here.
everything.
Okay?
Disclaimer,
So,
Chat
no,
GPT is not a therapist.
not a therapist
Legal
at
note,
all.
legal note, legal note, legal note.
Okay? Nope. And
Whoops.
I've seen more people talk about being harmed by it. There have been an increasing number of articles talking about how it is feeding people's delusions.
Nope, we're going to strike that from the record too. Legal note, Chat GPT is an AI program, and that's all it is.
Yes.
Legal note done. I feel
So,
like Sunny from The View.
you funny.
Legal note, I'm not Sunny from The View.
Sir. You said I feel like, not I am. I actually think you already talked about your light-skinned behavior of inserting yourself in the drama, thinking you were being helpful.
Oh,
But
I
you
got
didn't
more.
regret it. Did
I
you?
got more
Did you regret it?
about what the relationship thing.
Yes. No. Well, any of them, because your note was one of y'all inserted yourself in the drama, thinking you were being helpful and immediately regretting it. But I don't know if you'd be regretting
No,
it.
I don't. Because it's how I felt and what I said. And if they took it the way that they took it, that's on them. That's their issue, not mine. I have a friend who is a recent single parent. So I felt like she was overcompensating for her kid at one time. But then in that same weekend that we were together, I was with my line brother and I saw how his kids behaved versus her. So I made a mention about how my line brother's kids were doing this while you doing this with your kids. And I guess that struck a chord. So what I did learn from that is you can't tell somebody how to parent or suggest somebody how to parent, especially me with no kids. So
Yeah, people
I
don't like
didn't
that.
regret it. I learned from it. So that's the thing. I think that's what the thing is. I don't regret it because I learned from these situations, you know? So if I didn't learn anything and I'm just confused by it the entire time, then I could potentially regret it. But I always find a learning moment in it, whether it's the reaction was good, bad, indifferent, whatever it was. I've learned something from all of them. So I think that's why I don't have any that I regret, you know?
That's fair. I
Yeah,
have regrets around hurting people's feelings
I don't.
because I do care about that. And while people are in control of their own emotions, I do have influence and effect on that. And so,
Words are power, like you said earlier. Words are power.
exactly. It's a balancing act between like, how do I not? I just want to ultimately make sure I'm not, of course you can hurt people by accident, or say things not realizing like, oh, that's a sensitive topic or area for you. But I just try to make sure I'm not ever intentionally.
Oh, that made me think of something with the whole words have power. When I was in college, someone I know in college, grades were not good, and his family would just spend the money to send him to school. I was like, you might as well just quit and drop out. And he did. And then a couple years later, my cousin was on a flight, and she was like, "Is this such and such and such and such?" So he was doing the those orange stick things for the planes to guide
Traffic
the planes.
control,
Huh?
air traffic control,
Is that considered air traffic control? The
part
people
of
on
it.
the
I believe
tarmac?
so.
Okay. So he was doing that, and so now he's an Uber driver in Vegas. But that didn't, I don't think that had to do with my words of advising him to just drop out of school. He already wasn't doing well in school, so I'm like, what you wasting these people's money for? So in my mind, I did a good thing. So I don't regret that either.
That does not sound like a good thing. I'm not
But that goes to me, the whole thing about
not
words.
hearing I did a good thing. If you had said I encouraged him and it kept him going and helped him turn around,
That's
or
not where my mind goes.
or
That's where my mind
I,
goes.
gave him a different choice for when he dropped out of instead of college, maybe you should. But it sounds like you directed him to dive further into being directionless. So I'm
And I
not
did give him a
really
direction to go
seeing,
to. I just said, just drop out. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not really seeing the.
I gotta give him. We're still cool. He called me last week. I gotta call him.
Well,
Return
maybe
his
you
call.
can speak some positivity into him this time.
We'll see where this conversation goes. I mean, he's
Oh
cool.
Lord, you're funny. Like you got to see where the conversation goes. Speak positivity. You can't just speak some positivity into this man that you done told to drop out of
He
college.
called me twice last week, so it might be important. So I guess I'll call him back
Oh,
to add
Lord.
it to my to-do list.
Okay, so I'm moving on from that one.
Um,
uh,
Nigga,
our
you seem
pop
like a
culture
hooper.
report, speaking of business that I didn't want to know, this Trump and Elon beef. I feel like this is just the latest in a series of public beefs that I feel like we get dragged into. This one I was rooting for everyone to lose.
I'm disappointed in Elon for bitching out and backing down. It must have been because Trump threatened his government contracts and all that stuff. But I'm disappointed. I wanted Elon to go full spectrum, full spectrum. You know what I'm talking about? Full
Not
spectrum.
don't even
What?
like don't make it a spectrum thing. We're not gonna make
No, that's not a bad thing to say.
I
We're all
didn't
on
say it
the
was a
spectrum.
bad or good thing, but full spectrum doesn't actually have a meaning. You don't move around on the spectrum based on your behavior. So
Yes,
even
you
the
do.
implication, no, you don't.
That's why it's called a spectrum.
No, you exist in one point on the spectrum.
I don't believe that.
You
I don't
don't
believe that.
move around based on your mood. I'm not
I don't
partially
believe that.
spectrum one day and higher the next because I'm in a bad mood. That's literally, sir,
Nope,
no.
I don't believe it.
Sir,
And no, I don't believe
I
it.
just because you don't believe it doesn't make it not true. I'm actually telling you what it is and telling you that saying something like full spectrum is actually
Just because you got
incredibly
your little education,
problematic.
because you got your degree and stuff.
Sir, bag that. You ain't right on this one. And you're coming off very ignorant. Okay.
You don't know what spectrum I was talking about. Emotional spectrum. Hmm.
What we not gonna do is tell lies here. Okay. Because you
Hmm.
and I are both smarter than that.
Hmm.
Okay, you know where you were going and exactly what you were saying.
The emotional spectrum.
Uh-huh. It's
Your
so hard.
turn. I'll be
It's so hard.
quiet.
You. Oh, you've been quiet now? No, I'm rooting for both of them to lose. I definitely was hoping for Elon to like drop the Epstein files in their entirety and just like walk away. But I bet it was a couple things. I bet Trump was like, I will snatch your contract so fast. And I bet other people who are on the Epstein list and were scared of catching a stray were like, don't bring Epstein back up. Like we got that buried. Shut up.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that because because Elon has access to all that, clearly.
I
Uh,
mean, I don't know what he actually has access to, but I'm sure he could.
it would be
Feel
amazing
like
if
getting
in the
access to the Elon
Tesla
Epstein
update,
list wouldn't cost that much.
in the next Tesla update, they have an app on there called Epstein. So then we could, that would be like,
Ain't
that
nobody
would be
down
crazy.
downloading a Tesla Epstein update. That just sounds like a virus.
No, like when the because the cars automatically update themselves periodically. So in like one of the next updates, it'll be a new app called Epstein, and you
Bro,
click it, and then that's the whole file.
that's exactly why that man would not is not suited to be in any sort of position. Instead of giving it to law enforcement, the public, or anything, you want him to put it in a Tesla.
Yeah,
How does that
because in
even
a
make
sense, that's
sense?
still private, right?
No, it's not.
The Tesla community. I don't know how the things work, but
I
I
don't.
don't know.
Why would that be considered private?
Because it with private owners. Because Tesla's not a public plat. I'm talking about in the car. I'm talking this out as I'm thinking through it.
Yeah, I don't know where you're trying to go with this, but it doesn't make sense. So let's just leave that idea on the cutting room floor.
Well,
I
so on the topic of Trump, and pop culture topics, this parade that's happening
I was
this
gonna
week.
say, and minding our business, because are you going?
No, but I think I am going to go to Stan's tonight, and that was not a paid promotion, by the way. To get some chicken wings and a cocktail. So I just want to see like what the big hubbub is in that area, but
Is
I'm not going
Stan's,
to.
isn't Stan's the bar that they frequent?
No, 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 no. No,
Oh,
it's
I
the one where you
don't,
go walk downstairs and they serve the, like the whole full chicken wing and like super, super, super strong drinks.
no, I don't go there. But
Yeah, we got to go one of
I
these
don't,
days.
I don't know
Again,
why I
no
thought
promotion.
Stan's was a conservative bar, but maybe I.
Mm-mm. Definitely not that. Um, but yeah, I just want to go see what it's like. But like the parade tomorrow, I'm curious. One, I don't think a lot of people are going to be there. Two, it's going to be storming and raining tomorrow.
Let's hope.
And so people not being there. Three, it's insane to me that they're having this. You know how DC streets are. They're not the best anyway, but you're just going to tear them up intentionally.
Oh, for sure, because
You
he hates
think?
DC. It's another way to make us pay more money.
I don't get it, but they're trying to put it under the guise of what a army recruitment event because army recruitment is down, so they think that this will
Yeah,
make
well, who wants to go into the army when you're gonna drag them into the streets of LA to sleep outside
exactly like we
uninvited?
have more people in LA than we do overseas. I think that's what the thing was. Like more people deployed to LA downtown than are overseas. So yeah,
No,
that's enough about. Oh, and one more political thing. What's this whole Iran-Israel thing about? You're
no,
more versed in that than me.
no. That's we don't need to talk about that. This is not
Oh,
the platform for that.
with the bombs and stuff.
This is not the
Oh.
platform for
We'll
that.
edit that out.
Like,
Okay.
no,
What was?
no.
I guess that's not pop culture, huh?
It's, I mean, it's current events, but I would not call that pop culture. And that's not something I would feel
I gotta
versed
start watching the news.
to speak on. And also, like, no, that's not what's going on between them is not a light-skinned problem. That's
That's a real problem. Hmm.
so nah. And just not the kind of events or tone of what we're like. We're not about to talk about war happenings on this podcast.
All right. Well, what do you think about A. Marie? I love A. Marie. I love A. Marie. She's
No,
been out a
you
lot lately.
haven't.
She did the Tiny Desk. She did the BET
I didn't watch
Awards.
BET, but
It was a great award show. Honestly,
I
it was
had
one of the best
watched her
awards
Tiny
shows.
Desk and I liked it, but then I put it on again this morning while I was in the shower. And so when you can't watch it and you can only hear it, I was like, oh, okay. Because I had seen a few people like talk about like what happened with A. Marie and da da da. And I was like, I liked the performance. And then I listened to it again and I was like, and I now understand some of the critique. Like, it wasn't terrible. You honestly, I feel like more of it, especially listening to it without looking at it, was like levels issues. It wasn't even that she was necessarily bad. It was that like the sound of Backyard Band was louder than she was.
Yes, yes,
And
yes, yes.
like if they had turned her mic up, I think it might have been a better overall experience. But it wasn't like I was hearing her and she was like out of tune or like, it was just like it felt more like, oh, the levels, like that's really loud. She's really quiet. This is over here. I was like, ugh.
That's how I felt when I watched the clip on Instagram. I'd
Hmm.
like shut it off after like 5 seconds. But then I watched the whole thing when I had two people here that are like music, they work in the whole music thing. They sing, they're singers, church singer, whatever. They helped me understand it better, like what you said about the tune and the loudness of her microphone. But it was really the band that saved it, I felt. Like if
Hmm.
there was just a regular track playing behind her and not
Yeah,
the
it would have
whole
been
thing,
less
it'd have
interesting.
been terrible, in my opinion. And I love Marie. But the interesting part is like she did that, she did BET, and then she announced that she's getting a divorce after all these years. Which I think is very interesting because
Who are
normally
they married to? Because my
hmm,
brain is picturing Tamia's husband. That's not her husband. Who? I don't
that's
even know.
that's Grant Hill, ain't it?
Right. That's who I saw at first, and I was like, no, that's Tamia's man. Um,
Marie husband.
I don't even know who she married to.
Some guy with glasses. No.
Lenny Nicholson? I don't know who that is.
A record exec.
Okay, well, I mean,
And she looks good. She's still, and what I think she's
she
40.
does still look great.
I think she's 45. Yeah.
Yes, because we looked that up. Because I was like, how old is Marie?
One thing. I still listen to that.
It's this one thing that got me tripping. So good.
That's what I was saying. That was the same time Beyonce came out with her first solo one. What was that called again? Crazy in Love?
Was that the first? Oh, yeah, that was the
Because
first one.
it was the same type of cadence.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Um,
What else has happened or is happening?
I was hoping to win this contest and kidnapping you to Kane with me.
Did you win?
Well, they were supposed to announce on Wednesday and they haven't announced anything. And I'm like,
Oh, well, you should.
I messaged them like, hey, who won?
Well, technically, that violates their rules legally, so you might have a case to get you to
Like,
be a
just
winner.
take me.
Yep. If they didn't announce when they said it in the rules, the official rules, trust me, I know this much I do know. So you should reach out to them. I want to go.
I do too.
I got
I
nothing but
was,
time right now.
hmm,
I got nothing but time right now.
okay. It was an oceanfront suite
Oh,
with a flight from New York to France,
mm,
VIP invite to over 10 events,
mm.
1 year of their university, and private moments with their Grammy nominated guests.
Wait, 1 year of the university. What university is this?
This is the modern black girl
Oh, okay.
doing the contest. So I'm like, hey girl, not to be a pick me, but pick me.
I say you look up those official rules and make a case
Listen,
because I wants to go.
I do too. So we shall,
Juneteenth is coming up.
yes. Are we doing anything? What do you want to do?
Oh, my friend is having her thing at her house again on Saturday. Remember from
Oh, with the
last year?
pool and the kids?
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
So that's Saturday. On a
Um,
roll.
maybe,
Um,
maybe.
I didn't find out about Juneteenth until I lived in Texas.
Well, it is definitely a Texas centric
But it wasn't
holiday.
because of people that knew about it. It was because I think
Was that
it
the
was
year that they
20
legalized it?
it was 2020. That's what it was. 2020. George Floyd, Black Lives Matter. I had just moved to Texas. I was working at that company where I represented Black people. Um, and so the non-Black people came. I think 'cause it was just signed into law as a national holiday. So that's why the non-Blacks knew about it. So then I was called upon to educate the entire organization about what Juneteenth is. And I'm like, I am just a black boy from Connecticut. I don't know what this is. So I had to educate myself on it. And in retrospect, that was like kind of fucked up because I also had a shirt that I bought from Amazon and it had like the one with like the fist and it said July 4th was crossed out and it said no Juneteenth type thing. They caught wind of my shirt before the Zoom call, and I was instructed to change my t-shirt because it would offend some people in the company, the
Mm.
Texas-based company. So, yeah, very interesting about Juneteenth. So that was my first introduction to Juneteenth, was still being suppressed and oppressed in the celebration of it all by a corporation. Um, but I digress. Keep that
Oh,
in there. Keep that in there.
oh, I'm leaving all of it.
You say
Even
what?
I said I'm leaving all of it. You taking all these parts. Um, Also, we haven't talked. Are we going to see Beyonce? I really want to go see Beyonce. And I think she's in New York
So
like 4th of July weekend.
I won't be here for the July weekend. So I'm going to see her in Atlanta. And now the pressure's on to like find an outfit. Cause I'm like, it's just too much work. Like, where do you get this stuff from? Like, if I was back in Texas, I go to a thrift store, I could find all the frills and everything. And then
So
I'm
goes that,
traveling for the concert. So that means I got to like pack my costume. It's just way too much.
which
I
is
need help.
why you should just do it here. Where are you going to be?
Phoenix.
Oh, why are you going to be in Phoenix?
My fraternity's convention.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. The last one we didn't talk about was family business, but we can circle back to that next time because I think we are at time and I don't want to make it too long.
You so listeners, Morgan is afraid to talk about family business.
No, I said we
So
could talk
she
about it next time.
anytime she can avoid it, she's going to try to avoid it. So I think we should just keep going and talk about family
Sir,
business.
we are at about an hour and we still got to record another one.
No, we're not.
Y Yes, we are.
Oh, all right. Well, family business for episode 2.
Yeah, I think we did some good segments and have a nice thing going. So don't worry. I'm gonna talk about you and your family.
Okay. Your family.
Your family. Your peoples. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to episode one. Ba, 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 ba.
There we go.
Did it. One episode down of It's So Hard Being Light Skinned with your host.
It's so hard. Oh, Jonathan.
Yes, Jonathan Kirkland and your girl Morgan Fike. It's so hard as he was singing us out. Ooh.
Be
We
like.
will see you next week.